Welcome, everyone. If you are watching live, of course, right now, it means it is noon Eastern Time on a Wednesday, which, of course, is always time for the High Noon Hemp Show, your hemp
Uh-oh.
entertainment show,
What
if
happened
you
to me?
will. You're there. I still have you. Can you hear
This
me?
is weird. I can't hear you.
Well, that's not good. You should be able to hear me. Hopefully, everyone else can hear me. Maybe you're having technical issues. In
Hello?
any case,
What the?
we are
Hmm.
live. It's officially episode 327. Of course, the High Noon Hemp Show. You can find us in various places. We're on the
Hello,
Facebook
hello? What the heck
Temptations
is going on
Beach
here?
Facebook
All
page.
right, I'm gonna
Right? I guess Beach gonna have to try
log
to
out and try to log back in and see what happens. I
restart.
don't know. Huh.
That's unfortunate.
Heads up, I can hear y'all.
Thank you, Seth. Unfortunate technological beginning to the show, but that's all right. It's happened many times before. If you've watched any of the other 326 episodes, there's been many technical glitches and problems. Used to be weekly and numerous and varied and very just out of the blue, out of nowhere. So there was no rhyme or reason to any of it. In any case, if you're on Facebook, check us out on the Temptations Beach Facebook page. If you're on the YouTube, it's the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel. Beach has returned. Can you hear me, Beach?
I can hear you now. I don't know what that's.
Awesome. I don't
Again,
know.
here's who I'm gonna blame. I'm gonna blame Apple on this one. Of course, I updated my phone last night, and
Right.
everything is freaking different. So I don't.
Thank you, Apple. Good job.
It's all good. Here I am. I am here. Welcome, everyone, to the High Noon Hemp Show.
Right.
It is Wednesday. It is high noon. It's time to talk about hemp, as we do every week. Remember, the FDA has not evaluated this show for safety or efficacy. All right, that being said, let's go ahead and get our pledge out of the way. I pledge allegiance to the hemp fields of America and to the soil in which it is planted. One seed under the sun with responsibility, sustainability, and thrivability for all. By the way, we get a little break there. I forgot to ask. Do you know what today is?
I'm guessing it's a certain day. It's a special day, especially to you, Beach. Beach, what day is it?
Hemp Day. That's right. It's Hemp Day. It's always Hemp Day. It's also 330 days until the federal government bans hemp for the most part. And now what we're seeing is that we're already seeing discussions on the fact that they don't know how they're going to enforce this ban in 330 days if it does go into effect. I think the DEA would be loving this because, the DEA has come around and said at least once and been very serious about it, said that CBD is illegal, that Delta 8 is illegal, that all these things are illegal. And of course, the DEA has never been lying about that because CBD from marijuana is federally illegal. Delta 8 from marijuana is federally illegal. And so, we can expect that the DEA is they're sharpening up their pitchforks.
Yeah.
And they're eagerly awaiting, in true military form. Now it's a hurry up and wait situation. But I bet the DEA is just like, oh, we know how to do it. We can do this. Technically, they're going to put hemp back into the drugs category. And so, I just so ridiculous. And on a ironic note, I suppose, state of Ohio has passed SB 56 and now sits on the governor's desk, which makes draconian. We're going backwards both with the marijuana laws that the Ohio voters picked, okay, clearly worded. We're going backwards on that, and they're mixing some things up again in the draconian ways that they are. And of course, they're going to try to redefine industrial hemp. Well, it's a real good thing that at least for the next 330 days, I will argue that whatever the state of Ohio is doing will not affect my products because I sell federally legal industrial hemp. And so this is what's going to happen, because this is what Ohio did when the medical marijuana program started, officially went into action in Ohio. The state of Ohio came out, and in the same way that I was just talking about, the DEA said CBD is illegal. You can't sell CBD anywhere in the state of Ohio. And the truth of it was, under the medical marijuana policy, you couldn't sell CBD extracted for medical marijuana. That was the policy of the medical marijuana. It was not the state law. Okay? If they are putting these into the policies of the medical marijuana, because they're saying you're going to have to go to the dispensary to get this, if they're putting this under those policies, that does not affect the hemp that I sell. What they will do to make sure everybody stops is they'll make sure everybody thinks it's illegal. And then if you don't stop selling, what they will do is threaten some other license. So if you're a gas station selling these products, what they will do is they'll say, well, if you continue to sell these products, we're not only going to come in and seize them, which is what they threatened to do with CBD. And if you go back to some of the first shows, this was an issue when we first started the show. I became a somewhat national, slightly national celebrity when it came to standing up to the medical marijuana in the state of Ohio back then. What is up? What is up, Shane? Shane, good to see you. Good to hear from you. I've been thinking about you. All my vibes are headed your way, brother. But the fact of the matter is, I'm going to continue to sell federally legal. They don't have any. I don't have a license for anything else. I don't have a tobacco license. I don't have an alcohol license. I don't have a food license. I don't have any of the licenses that the state of Ohio threatened to take away from stores like 8 years ago for selling CBD. This is just CBD 8 years ago. Okay? But they tried this 7 years ago. It's been 7, moved on the air, 6, whatever it was. But anyway, and guess who was the governor then? Good old DeSwine, because his hate for cannabis runs deep. And again, the ignorance that they surrounded then. And again, what was really funny is it only took about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 6 months of the state trying to do this that eventually there were some challenges. There was a kid in Ohio that had to wear an ankle bracelet for like 6 months because they found CBD tincture in his car during this time period. And again, eventually all that was thrown out. But this poor kid, anyway. So, if they think that's how they're going to get, they're again, it is what it is. I know the governor, old DeSwine, will be signing it soon. I can't believe he hasn't. I can't believe he didn't get up in the middle of the night after they passed it to sign it, because he's just so eager to hate on cannabis. And just so you know, everyone in Ohio should call his office and say, we do not agree with what you're doing. We do not agree. Call him today. Everyone in Ohio, everyone everywhere should call him today and say, do not sign this. You are messing up. You technically can't change any of this. It's going to get challenged. You can't change the definition. You cannot change a federal definition. And that is what part of this bill is trying to do, is change a federal definition. You really can't do it when you say you can't add something to the controlled substance list in the state of Ohio. It's not how our controlled substance list actually works. And is that what this bill clearly says? Is that they're adding these things to the controlled substance list in Ohio? Or are they just banning them under the authority, or I'm sorry, not banning them, putting them under the authority of a Ohio policy? Because there's a difference. Once again, one's a law, one's just a policy. So, we'll see where it all goes. On the same ironic note, they have extended the ban on the ban in Ohio. So they keep pushing the dissent, and here's why. And I truly believe this, honestly. It's because the judge has no choice but to say this ban was illegal. But they don't want him to announce that, because that makes this backroom SB 56 policy change to the laws that the Ohio voters voted on and the definition of hemp look even more shady than it is. And I don't really understand how, we keep falling for it's for the kids argument. Like, why are adult humans still falling for this stupid it's for the kids argument to begin with? It makes no sense to me. We keep letting them degrade our adult rights by claiming we're terrible adults because kids are in grave danger from these products. And all of us adults know that is 100% not true. It's not true at all. It's just, bah. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. And I'm done saying that. All right, well, let's get on with the show. Got plenty else to talk about. It's true. Let's get on with the product spotlight. Speaking of all these products that supposedly I won't be able to sell when this Ohio SB 56 goes into effect, this first one here is one we got in. These are some new ones we just got in. This is the Stoner syrup. And so there's roughly a little over 400 milligrams of THC and 600 milligrams of Delta 8. The ones Delta 8, that's the one they keep talking about when they talk about intoxication, which I really love too. So it's a total of 1,000 milligrams total cannabinoids. And of course I chose the grape flavor because grape is my favorite tart or sweet candy, I should say. Not sweet candy because chocolate's sweet. Anyway, the next one on the list here, how about sweet chocolate, crispy hazelnut, crispy blunts candy bars. These are 100 milligrams per candy bar. I think it's multiple pieces in there too, which makes it easy to break it up. If you want to carry that over, kids today have no problem eating 100 milligram candy bar. Us older generation may want to break that up a little bit. I'm just saying. We've been getting more requests for edibles, and we should have our gummies back in soon as well. But and then we've got the pre rolls. We got some new pre rolls. We got the Lucy's and the hash holes. And so the Lucy's are, again, we got a sativa, indica, and a hybrid. And then the hash holes are flower, and then it's got the hash going down through the middle of it. And basically, you're paying about, I don't know, about $3.50 a gram. They're 3 grams total in the packages, and so. And again, just so you know, and here's the scam of everybody wanting pre-rolls from the dispensaries is 9 times out of 10, the quality of flower in the pre-roll is not high quality. Okay. Yeah. That's not, and so that's why they should be more inexpensive, than if you were taking your flower and rolling it up. And so to me, but I usually smoke, since I've gotten these in, I'll spend most of a day smoking one pre-roll. And so, it works for me either way. But I don't think you can, really go wrong with spending, say, $5 for a gram and a half pre-roll. $10 for 2, because there's 2 in each package. So try that at the dispensary. I don't know what they charge the dispensary. If anybody knows in the state of Ohio what they're charging for a pre-roll at the dispensary, I would love to know. So anyway, then we've got just as promised every week. I didn't edit this picture, but there you go. Some more holiday cards, Greenfield Paper Company cards. I love the turtle. We're kind of, I love all animals, but I will have to say that, I do have kind of a special place in my heart for turtles. Look, a turtle. Am I not turtle enough for you? Anyway, we're the kind of people that stop and put the turtle on the other side of the road. And I don't know why the joke wasn't always, why did the turtle cross the road? Anyway, so there you go. If you're, want to go old fashioned. And I just heard today, and this was on a sports show, ironically, because I was listening to the basketball game on my way home last night. So when I got up, it was still on the sports channel that I listened to my basketball game, Kentucky. And the girl on there made a comment about how she goes old school during the holidays with holiday cards. And I was like, hey, see?
There you go.
It does happen. I'm going to go old school, send some holiday cards, make somebody's holiday season by actually writing your words down on a piece of paper and mailing it. Here we go. And I've got more cards to come. I've got enough to get us through the next 2 weeks. And so, that's probably, I don't know what the selection is at this point, but 20, 30 different cards to choose from between these and the nature flexions. And then the last one, whoops, wait a minute. Yeah. The last one from my door is, this is basically my bedding. And so, I got a hemp sheet, hemp comforter, hemp blanket. And that's kind of, if you, go down to the left-hand corner and kind of come across, you'll see sheet, my comforter, a blanket. The multicolored is actually I don't know if they were actually called Bajas originally, but it's got a hole in the middle to put my head through. And I can act as a blanket, but then I can also wear it as well. There has to be a name for this type of thing, something you would see in westerns. I feel like Clint Eastwood used these in some of his movies. This type of thing. This was custom made for me. Those are all different kinds of hemp material. And then when I wear it right, there's actually a tiny little zipper pocket to put stuff in. So. And then you got your pillows back there. The purple pillowcase is I think that's one of my hemp silk pillowcases. And then the light green one is kind of more kind of a linen kind of material as far as a weave. And I have like very dense, I should say, probably more thread count, thicker hemp pillow kinds, the hemp silk ones. And so I always say I go to bed in hemp and I wake up in hemp. And it's true. I go to bed in hemp and I wake up in hemp. And then I spend all day long in hemp. And I use hemp all day long because I am addicted to hemp.
Indeed.
It's true. Okay, dokey. That brings us to
The greatest segment in internet history is the beachwear segment. Of course, that Beach has a lot of hemp stuff, whether it's clothing or other hemp products. We've been talking about it for well over 7 years. And in this segment, we chronicle specifically Beach's clothing, all of the hemp records that Beach has set and currently holds when it comes to clothing. Of course, as you mentioned, we have mentioned for a long time now, the Guinness World Records Corporation, the people who supposedly chronicle these things and keep track of these things and are the know-it-alls of the records in the world. They absolutely refuse to recognize anything cannabis or hemp related, but they do focus on other things. Some of them are dumb, some of them are heartwarming, some of them are for charity. Most of them make no sense whatsoever. The one I have today, I have a video to go with because, well, you have to see it. First of all, the new record is most glass bottles trapped with a slinky in 1 minute. It's 53, by the way, for anyone keeping track at home, that the record is 53 glass bottles trapped in a slinky. And you see there the video, he throws the slinky down and it goes over the bottle. And I don't know. It's just a slinky going over a bottle.
It goes back and forth doing this? Come on. Oh, my Lord. Guinness Book of World Records, come on.
First of all, I don't understand how you come up with an idea like that. Like what he was on, I have no idea. Just to have the idea. And then he sends this idea to the Guinness World Records, and they are like, yeah, that sounds good. You're flipping a slinky down over a bottle and then flipping it back up and then back down over the bottle. And he does that 53 times in a minute, and that's a world record for Wang Shuai from China. So
I need a hemp composite slinky immediately.
It seems like they go out of their way to find the most random, ridiculous things. I understand it gets clicks and they used to sell books and all that other stuff, but I mean, come on. You're ignoring actual real things that are going on in the world because Wang Shuai in China has a slinky and some bottles. It makes, I don't know. I think that's where Records are like a huge corporation. They got that idea. Like, yeah, that sounds amazing. Let's send a camera crew, a person with a little clipboard and a pencil to stand there and make sure this guy does it right and it's an official record. So congratulations.
I can't wait till some 12-year-old beats that. I just cannot wait until some 12-year-old comes along and just obliterates that record.
Just the amount of time that guy spent doing that. Do that. Like he had to practice that for a long time. Anyway, that of course is how we come to the beachwear statement, because the Guinness World Records does not care, but we do. So that's why we talk about it each week. We talk about what Beach is wearing. All I have to do is ask him one simple question, which is, what are you wearing, Beach?
That's right. If you're curious, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you will know.
It's blue.
And speaking of records, I am going to do my best to start a new record on 12/13/25, just in a couple days, of wearing a completely different outfit every day for as long as I can.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But this particular outfit is on top of my head there. Have you seen during the show? That's a Hempy's beanie. My jacket is a hemp hoodlam jacket. That T-shirt is a hemp hoodlam jacket. Merry Christmas. My shirt underneath is what was an A-wear. A-wear. Happy, happy, happy. Hempy, hempy, hempy to the holidays. You got my Hempy's belt, holding up a pair of Kentucky Hemp Outfitter jeans. And then in the pocket of those Kentucky Hemp Outfitters is, of course, my Green Springs Technology pen, as always, in my pocket. Underneath it all, a pair of Hempist Long Johns, because it's cold, cold. And then a pair of Satori socks and Saucony sneakers. And of course, those are my Saucony, part of my Saucony Jazz line, which are vegan line of shoes. So, there you have it. If you're curious, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you will know. So, and then I'm going to clearly, I've already got it figured out how I'm going to clearly document this new record. And of course, I decided on 12/13 because 12/13 equals 25. I'll always be able to remember.
Okay.
When I started it. That's, if anyone's curious, is like, why did you pick 12/13, Beach?
I was actually.
Yes. Well, again, you should know as much as anything how much of a numbers person I am, because I am very much a numbers person. And so, yes, that's why 12/13 was the start point. At first, I was like, start at the beginning of the year. And then I was like, man, I don't even want to wait that long. So 12/13 came up. There you have it. 12/13. It's also the day after my youngest's birthday, who was conveniently born on 12/12/8. And when I say conveniently born, he was breech, so it was scheduled. And when we sat down, it only made sense in the time frame that they told us to pick 12/12. So anyway, that's how that all worked. All right, well, here is yet another. This is actually the follow-up to, I believe it's the follow-up to the South Park commercial that you have seen a couple times over the last week. So let's do that, and we'll get on with some news.
Dudes, this is going to be a great hemp giving holidays.
Last year could have been better.
Don't worry, this year brings the largest selection of hemp, including CBD supplements and topicals, the newest vaporizers, and a new Hemptations in Dayton, and of course, much, much more.
Sweet!
And Hemptations for 20 years plus has been the procrastination destination for all your holidays goods. Hemptations.com. Having holidays Hemptations?
Dudes.
I was just talking about the procrastination destination tagline that I use during these crazy holidays, because it's true. We get busier. The closer we get to all of it, the busier that we get. And it only makes sense, It only makes sense. All right, well, an article. 6 healthy nuts and seeds snacks. I left out a letter. Seed snacks to help reverse diabetes. Okay, here is a recipe for pistachio hemp seed trail spoon. So apparently in India, this came out of India, this recipe, this article. Um, Apparently they call trail mix trail spoon in India, but that's basically what this is. This is a very simple trail mix with pistachios, hemp seeds, um, coconut, just a little bit of coconut flakes, and just a little bit of lemon juice for some reason. But basically, just kind of mix that up, and that's a good little snack. If you're diabetic, if you have blood sugar issues, and whatnot. So there you have it. Easy to make. Simple, actually. I just want to say simple to make. Either way. Another article. 1 in 20 pregnant women report recent CBD use despite safety concerns. And I'm not sure what the safety concerns are because they don't really just because it's CBD and it's not FDA approved, is that the concern? The fact that 1 in 20, that's 5% of pregnant women are using CBD. I actually feel like that's lower than I really would have expected. All in all, depending on how they actually gathered this information and whatnot. Um, the only study that was actually ever done on marijuana and mothers and children and pregnancy was an anthropological study done in Jamaica, I believe, um, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Okay. And they studied the women through their pregnancies and then the children and all of this. And the one thing that I took out of that actual study is that they had come to the conclusion that the children of the mothers that had used cannabis, and this is THC, high THC cannabis, during pregnancy, those children were calmer, better, well-behaved children. Again, now there's a lot of correlation, there's a lot of causation. I truly believe that I'm not sure where to take that, honestly. Now the only side effect of CBD that the FDA says may be an issue is to the liver. And again, there's no real clarity there other than when they were going through the process of having Epidiolex, the CBD inhaler for children it's one of the only FDA approved CBD pharmaceuticals out there. At some point in that study or approval, there was something that maybe said that because of how CBD goes through the liver, that it could be bad for the liver. Again, it's a fatty oil. So, again, I don't know anything medical there, but that's really, really, at this point, that's the only real even could be. They still approved it, and they still haven't shown that chronic CBD use causes any liver damage. And so, there's still a lot of information to be out there. I think that there have been enough people that take CBD daily and have been taking CBD daily for possibly 10 years, then I would love to see a huge, large scale study on that. But I mean, do you got to biopsy some part of the liver to see how it's affecting the liver? I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Anyway, I do wonder, in all honesty, how I don't know. It'd be that alone to learn would be interesting. And so, I don't know what the concerns are. I have no medical abuse, but I would love to see, again, more long-term studies as to how that may or may not affect the fetus. Either way. Once again, our brains have an endocannabinoid receptor system. Our bodies have an endocannabinoid receptor system that runs all through it. All these receptors, CB1, CB2, NRPV, I believe. I mean, we're discovering kind of more receptors because this is something that has only been on the medical radar for 20 years, which seems so outrageous. But it is. Because guess what's the only thing that affects it? Cannabinoids. And, contrary to some of the headlines that we've seen over the last couple 5 years, the major place to find cannabinoids is in cannabis. So, it's really a lack of, and again, this will all be getting worked out just within a year, when the federal government legalizes or reschedules or legalizes cannabis, then we're going to get a lot more legitimate studies to prove whether cannabis actually is unhealthy or bad for the human body. They don't really want that. Because as we have proven over the last 30 years of having medical marijuana legal in states, we're finding more and more that, yes, it is very beneficial. The fact of the matter is no medical marijuana state has ever gone back and said, well, that was a terrible decision. Not one. Even in Ohio, where we started with one of the worst medical marijuana programs of all the states ever. Guess what? It's still expanding, and they're still expanding it because it's highly effective as a medicine. All cannabis use is medical. I should say therapeutic. All cannabis use is therapeutic. I'm not a doctor. I cannot say medical. I retract that statement. I did say it, but I'm retracting it now, immediately. Here, yet another article. 7 plant-based proteins that help with muscle recovery in cold weather. Number 6 on the list, hemp protein. There it is. Hemp protein contains anti-inflammatory oils and protein. Wow, I can't believe that hemp protein contains protein. That's good to hear. I just realized that I actually typed that, and I'm reading it now, but it's part of the article. Shown to aid muscle recovery. So this is what I found very interesting about this, and this was a study that showed this. We're not trying to be sexist in any way, but there were actually sex-specific benefits observed in the study. And so women showed improved muscle thickness when using hemp protein after a resistance training workout. And men experienced more maintenance of muscle strength after a resistance training workout. So, very interesting protein, I suppose, as to how that protein goes to work in the female body, and that protein goes to work in the male body. And we have seen some of this a little bit more in, uh, you know, it's not sexist. Female bodies are different than male bodies. It's just how it is. But it is kind of interesting how the hemp protein, kept more of a strength issue in the men, but more of a thickness issue in the women. And so I don't know if they're just really trying to sell hemp protein to women because, that thick muscle look is in, so to speak. But anyway, there you have it, folks. Highly beneficial to have hemp protein, but it's going to affect you a little bit differently, whether you're a male or a female, after your resistance training. And again, this study was just done on S4 resistance training. So I'm sure there's more to come with maybe free weight training or just I don't know what's the word for not using anything training. Running, push-ups, sit-ups, planks. Like I don't know what that's just unaided training, I guess. Running up steps, whatever it may be, without actually ever. Which I was more into that type of training than anything else. I did not like the weight room didn't do much for me, but I would be more apt to go out and strengthen my legs by running up steps. So I would be more apt to strengthen my upper body and my core by doing more like plank workouts, or put your hands lay on the floor, put your hands under your butt, and raise yourself up about 6 inches and hold that. There are a lot of, and I don't know if that's considered resistance workout or not. I don't know, but it's unaided. But that's the kind of things that I do to stay in shape. I'm not going to the gym. Even though the gym is hot right now, it seems like a lot of people are going to the gym. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So I've been reporting on this Sutter County issue out in California for probably over a year, because they put in a ban, and then they put in another temporary ban, and then they put in some restrictions, like to how close hemp farms in Sutter County could be to other farms, which was basically trying to shut down this one farm because it cut off like half of their availability to grow. Now they're trying to say that the hemp farmers got duped by marijuana growers, and because of that, they're not going to allow any hemp farming at all. No cannabis at all. So, and again, here's the interesting part of this. Everything that these officials are saying in Sutter County is speculation. They're accusing these hemp farmers of colluding with marijuana growers to grow marijuana in the hemp farm, yada yada yada. Okay, no proof, mere speculation. All right, but using it as a defense. Okay, and this is the oldest defense against hemp that there is. Well, if we let you grow hemp, then you're going to grow marijuana in the middle of the field and we won't know. Okay? Which is more true now, or could be, than before, because when that argument was going on, we were trying to get hemp for grain and hemp for fiber, and we were always like, well, one, if you're going to grow hemp for flour or marijuana for flour in the middle of a hemp field, everyone's going to notice if they just do a simple flyover, for one, and two, it's going to degrade that marijuana because it's a pollinator. There's a male and a female, and the minute that male pollination hits that female plant, it's going to start producing seeds and degrade the basically the weight quality more than anything. And so, it was always such a stupid argument. And now, of all places, there's a county in California that's using this argument to keep legitimate hemp farmers. And again, how hard can it be to, if you got a license, then aren't you paying somebody to go and test these fields at the end of the year to make sure that they're hemp? Because that's kind of part of how everybody does it. They're banning something that they could easily just test and then hold the farmer accountable for. Have someone that knows walk through a field of CBD flower in bloom. Okay, and anybody that knows anything about plants would know that if they come, there would be no way to hide the difference in, say, a CBD hemp plant flower and a marijuana hemp flower. They are going to look different. If you're growing a whole field, and this is how hemp works, when you grow, you grow specific. And again, if you grow in, I don't know. It's so stupid. Sutter County, California is like, Newsom has sent hemp so far backwards in California that counties are now going to make hemp farming illegal. That's just, anyway, how ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. It's just stupid. It's just stupid. So it looks like the University of Melbourne, they're doing hempcrete and straw exploration. So this article was basically about different schools and eco-friendly. I think I shot a picture over of this, but it was kind of interesting because this project, once again, hempcrete and straw, it was a project to show a construction idea that would be both beneficial for rain, and that's the straw part. So I guess the rain wicks off of the house easily with the straw outside, and then also be flame retardant, as would be the hempcrete. And so it's kind of an interesting, and it'll be interesting. Hopefully, we get to see the results that the students come up with as far as evaluating this as an effective, both wicking shell of a house. I don't know. I want to say maybe, I don't know if it's really wicking because the moisture is not coming through the hempcrete to the straw, but more diverting the water away from the shell of the house. And then of course the hempcrete we know it's going to prove to be beneficial for not just the flame retardant part of it, but the antimicrobial, antibacterial, the insulation properties alone. That's pretty neat. Pretty neat. So we know, I've talked about it so many times, times. How hemp is a phytoremediator, so it pulls chemicals out of the soil that we don't want, PFAs, as we call them, the forever chemicals, as they're being called these days. But now this is interesting. There's a biochar made from hemp that's soaked in iron sulfate and then applied to the soil. So it's a dry substance, I believe, applied to the soil, but it reduced PFA intake by 26% in radishes. So my scientific brain tells me that applying this biochar to the soil ends up absorbing some of the PFAs, therefore reducing by a quarter the amount of PFAs that are brought into the radishes. I don't know why they chose radishes. That was what they chose for this study, to see how well this biochar works, I guess. And so, that just leads me to believe that it seems like this is something that every single farmer would want to apply to their soil. I say it as much as I can. The things that we have a right to as humans is clean soil, clean air, clean water, right? And hemp is a huge part of this. Here is yet another way that we can add hemp. And that's why I do the show. That's why, again, it's endless. It always continues to amaze me, the endless amount of byproducts that we can get from this sustainable crop. This is just one more product that I can add to that list for my debate against anybody who wants to debate. You pick a plant, I'll pick hemp. We're going to have a debate. Your plant is going to lose terribly. I'm already going to tell you. I'm going to be a sore winner before the debate even starts. Because there's not a plant in the world. And I don't care how much you know about your plant. It doesn't make any difference. Be the world leading expert on whatever plant it is you think is better than hemp. And you're going to lose. You're going to lose. And here is yet another byproduct added to again, I cannot even imagine at this point 500 byproducts that I've probably talked about just on the show alone over the last 300 episodes. Can your plant be made into a biochar that's going to reduce the amount of PFAs that is then absorbed by another plant? I'm going to go with doubtful. But maybe. But that might be the one thing you compare with. I got many more. All right. Well, we're going to continue with our ending the show basically with our hemp nut reading and recipes. So let's go ahead and do that. The first recipe. Now I'm gonna read from the Fine Foods, and we're gonna show a picture of just a couple, because I do want to show a couple of the products at this point as we go along with this. Here's your hempanaise. So if you want to make yourself a mayonnaise substitute with hemp nut, and I like this one because this is hemp nut and hemp nut oil, And to be clear, unfortunately, hemp nut does not exist. So you got to have, you're going to have to go to the grocery store, and your grocery store should have, hopefully, both of these. It's going to probably have at least shelled, or what we call hulled hemp hearts. And that's basically hemp nut. That's what hemp nut was. And again, when you pull that off the shelf, give praise to Richard Rose. It would probably, he was the first to do it 30 years ago. And so, 25 years ago, whenever that, a long time ago, 30 years ago, I think when this happened. And then the hemp nut oil, that's just hemp seed oil. And hopefully they have that on the shelves of your grocery store as well. Easy enough. And so I'm going to read, this is the original hemp nut, perhaps the most important new invention for hemp seed ever. We took whole hemp seed and removed the shell, and the result is hemp nut, brand shelled hemp seed. It tastes like sunflower seed or pine nut, looks like sesame seed, and can be used in literally any recipe. It's that versatile. Plus, it contains about 40% more nutrition than whole hemp seed. In fact, it might be the most nutritious plant food available, raw, vegan, and now, again, organically grown. All right, we'll throw the next recipe up there. This is, let's see, I forget which was the second one. Oh, yeah, baked bananas. Come on, make some baked bananas and take those to your holiday celebration, maybe. So, and then here is about the hemp nut Hempe burger, which they were making at the time that I forgot about because we did not, that was all cold stuff, and it was very difficult to ship it. So we didn't have this back on the shelves back in the day. It's the first 100% vegetarian organic tempeh burger made from hemp seed. Smoked for your dining pleasure, it's ready for the grill or oven. We use hemp nut for more nutrition and better flavor. Because it's so high in soy protein, it may cut your risk of heart disease. Our Hempe burger is perhaps the most nutritious veggie burger available. All right. So let's. I'm pretty sure I sent that picture over as well. And so yeah, there it is. Those are those two products. Now, of course, we sold the hemp nut right out of the gate. That was something we had for sale as soon as we knew it existed. That Hempe, I want to call it Hempe burger. Amazing. Honestly, again, this was 30 years ago. It was. These products were so far ahead of their time that by the time we had a battle with the DEA over them, and again, Richard Rose started that battle in the middle of the 90s when he came out with these products, and he didn't know it at the time that's what was going to happen, because that's really what these products led to in the middle of 2000s, where we had to sue the DEA so that we could keep hemp food products on the shelves. And again, he was so before the time that it really got not as much. I don't want to say, I don't think, and again, it would be interesting to have his real take on this, that he got pushed out. I think that he didn't get pushed in. I think that the support and all of that and the controversy between that didn't help at all. Even, and by the time that we finally got that source law from suing the DEA in the middle of the 2000s, I think it highly affected the hemp food industry. Set it back either way. So, but I will continue until we've gone through most of this stuff to give Richard Rose, 100% credit for getting this ball rolling. And we still have so far to go. And what I would love to see is somehow, man, if he's anybody that deserves an investment to produce all of these products again, man, let's get that done. Let's bring back hemp nut. Let's get this whole line of hemp nut products that he had back in the day on the shelves in the major grocery stores. It deserves to be there. And people should be eating these things. That's the truth of it. That, my friends, is the truth of it. All right, well, we don't have really a whole lot of events going on. I don't really have. I didn't get any real. The headlines are still, quite depressing. If not, it's so funny because it's like half of them are depressing because it's, oh man, how is this going to affect North Carolina's hemp, the ban and all that. But it's kind of it's weird. We still have a long way for that to play out, honestly, and I don't see it playing out in the long run either way. And I know for a fact that SB 56. I don't care what in Ohio. I don't care what SB 56 says. It's not going to It's not going to change anything to what I do when it comes to the legal hemp that I sell. All right. We have the largest selection of hemp on the planet. I will continue to say it. Just recently, and this is one of the first times that I even put this on paper, and again, I don't want to be, but we are now the oldest smoke shop in Cincinnati. And I also believe that we are the oldest true hemp store in the world. In the world. I might be wrong. Maybe there's another hemp store in the world that has had the largest selection of hemp for over 20 years. They got to be 31 years or older, I should say, selling hemp products from day one. And, to put that asterisk beside true hemp store, I mean clothing, I mean pet stuff, I mean food, which we used to carry a lot of, and I need to get back into the food products. Hemp composite material goods. We've sold it all, and we still have a huge selection of it. Either way, so. All right. Well, that's my thought to end the show. Normally, I'm pretty humble about what Hemptations has done and accomplished in 30 years, but I don't think I'm wrong. and telling people that I am a world authority on hemp, and that that comes with both knowledge and wisdom. Both. They are different. So, anyway, thanks everybody for watching the High Noon Hemp Show. Remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having Hemptations.
See y'all next week.